Yo, what's good, campers? It's your boy Killer Beezy, man, and today we're gonna touch down on talking about Blade. I mean, I wasn't going to do this video, man, but as some of you may be aware, there's been a lot of talk on Twitter and obviously on YouTube now of talk about nerfing Blade and if he should or shouldn't be nerfed. And so you got three different teams. So you got Team Blade, which are the people that have him already. Then you've got Team Save for Blade, which are the people that want to get Blade. Then you've got Team Nerf Blade. Now, if you guys don't know already, you don't know my man. I'm on Team Save for Blade. Yeah, hashtag Save for Blade and that. But yeah, I wasn't really gonna get involved. But then I saw Bobbin's video and I saw him say, "Oh yeah, boom!" Like he'd encourage other YouTubers to put their point of view across, and I thought, okay, cool. All right, cool. Now, I'm not gonna go into Blade's abilities or whatnot because, like, if you play this game regularly, you probably already know what Blade is capable of. You've seen it all over YouTube, so I don't need to waste you guys' time by going through what he can and can't do. What I am gonna do is solely express my opinion on what I feel like, why I feel like Blade shouldn't be nerfed. So, yeah, as I just said, I don't agree with Blade being nerfed. I don't think he needs to be nerfed. I feel like this stage in the game, right? The game evolves. Yeah, so we have a set amount of champions in the game. Then obviously new champions come out that our current roster struggles with, and then obviously new champions come out to counter some of the stuff, and it's an ongoing cycle. Yeah, it is an ongoing cycle. You know, when certain champions that were difficult to fight at the time, that isn't necessarily that aren't, when a champion that is difficult to fight comes out at the time, you may not have a counter for that champion, but then later on down the line a new champion might come out that can counter that champion. I mean, for instance, let's take Wolverine Realm of Legends as an example. When you had to do Realm of Legends, like back them days, if you're someone that done it a while ago, like them times there was like 1 or 2 counters for Wolverine. Like, and even then you had to time things correctly in order to counter Wolverine. You know, you had to make sure if you was using guillotine, you had to make sure you timed the special right, because his regen was so OP that if you even allowed him to regen for a split second, you're already losing out. He's gaining more health than the damage that you're doing. So, you know, and if you was using Doctor Strange, you were fighting a very long fight. Yeah, if you were using Star-Lord, it was, again, a very long fight. So, for me, I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, like, if you're someone that is trying to save units and you're trying not to spend your units every time you have a difficult war, or you're trying to save money and not spend on the game, and you're playing in a top tier alliance, and you guys are constantly up against like a top defense, and you're having to go hard like in alliance war because your alliance is just, you know, going on and on, like, you need Blade. You cannot, well, you can, but if you want to try and play as close to a free-to-play perspective when playing a high-level alliance wars, you need Blade. And for me, I don't understand how like Kabam themselves, yeah, they do tests, yeah, and I remember they were gonna bring out an update for Black Bolt, and Kabam actually came out last minute and said, "Look, guys, we've decided not to do this anymore because if we done this, we realized that you know, the player's gonna be too overpowered and it wouldn't work, man. It's just gonna be too OP. So we've cancelled the changes to, well, they cancelled what they planned at the time for Black Bolt. Sorry, not Black Panther, for Black Bolt. So for me, it's like Kabam created Blade. Kabam would have done their testing on Blade. For them to still leave Blade how he is and release him, for me, I'm just like, okay, boom. Kabam released all this madness in the game that we had to struggle with. Then they said, you know what, guys, here's an apology, man. I apologize. Here you go. Here's Blade. Hopefully, you know, this will make things slightly easier. I think, yeah, because Kabam has an end game to everything. Every time Kabam make a move, there's always for a reason, yeah. And I rate Kabam for you know, for keeping my attention. They've, even though, you know, we don't agree with certain things on the game and stuff like that, the game overall, it's got us hooked, it's got us addicted, and we play it every day, man. Like, to make a game like that and keep it consistent, it takes a lot of work, do you know what I mean? So I rate that from Kabam. However, let me tell you something. Something is coming, bro. Yeah, Kabam wouldn't be this generous and give us a counter to a lot of the nonsense in the game that we struggle with, that you can't beat with just pure skill. Kabam didn't give us Blade for nothing. Yeah, Blade counters some of the difficult stuff now. Yeah, so I think something is coming. I don't know what, I don't know when, but there is no way that Kabam would give us Blade and then think, okay, yeah, boom, that's going to be a walk in the park. Remember, it's coming around that time where we're going to see changes to Alliance Quest, where we're going to see a new season, and without a doubt, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if they revamped Alliance Wars. You know, with 6 stars coming into play, we're going to have to look at rewards, and we're going to have some form of way to now obtain more 6-star shards through, like, you know, and materials to, you know, rank up the 5-star champions and to rank up 6-star champions. Like, Kabam are gonna have to look at all that stuff, because that's the direction the game is going in now. The game is slowly now turning into, right, man, we need to have you need to have a set amount of rank 4 5-star characters, you know, enough for, you know, at once upon a time you had to have like a certain amount of rank 5 4-star characters, like enough for your Alliance War defense, Alliance War attack, and Alliance Quest attack. Like, the game is gonna turn in that direction for rank 4 5-star champions, yeah. And I think that whatever changes are coming, yo, Blade ain't gonna save us, man. I'm telling you, man. But yeah, man, that's just my opinion. I mean, I've seen a lot of people talk about Blade, and they've talked about how overpowered he is or whatever, but they're only talking about Blade being overpowered, and they're comparing him to the matchups where he would be overpowered. Like, everyone's talking about how Blade needs a nerfing because if he fights villains, then he's overpowered, or if he fights dimensional beings, he's overpowered. Like, bro, it don't make no sense to me. That's like saying, oh, Iceman's too powerful, man. Like, if whenever he fights a Nightcrawler or a Spider-Man, oh, he's so powerful. Bro, like, people can't argue about Blade being overpowered and then use examples of, like, his abilities are made to counter. It doesn't make sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, why don't we compare, like let's look at a lot of the problematic fights in the game, right? Let's look at, for instance, let's look at Nightcrawler. Let's look at Spider-Man. Let's look at Hyperion. Let's look at Miles Morales. Let's look at who else has people advised me that they struggled against. You know, like MODOK, Mephisto, Magic. Let's say who else? Maybe Doctor Strange. Who else? Who else is a bit of a struggle to fight against? Some will say Medusa. Possibly Hela. You know, there's a handful, right? When you remove the villains and the dimensional beings, Blade isn't really gonna come in handy. Are you gonna use Blade against Nightcrawler? No. Are you gonna use Blade against Spider-Man? No, unless you want to get you want to get your combo evaded and then get slapped in the face. Like, you're not going to want to do that. And there is a yes, in Alliance War, Blade is going to be overpowered. Blade is an Alliance War champion. He was made for Alliance War, because in Alliance War, it will, having Blade now makes people have to think, you know what, we have to revisit our defense. Because think about it. If you as a leader or officer, you know that, okay, well, a lot of guys are going to have Blade now, but you know what, let's just fill up our defense with villains and dimensional beams anyway. Like, well, you're practically handing a win to the other alliance. But if you switch, and this is what I feel like, the end game is with Blade being added to this game. I think that rather than Kabam saying, well, actually, you know what, like, let's try and do diversity, let's try and do this, let's try and do that, I think now the game is within our hands to say, okay, well, you know what, loading up the map with magics isn't really working. Maybe we should go back to, like, putting Spider-Mans and Nightcrawlers on on defense. You know, maybe instead of relying on Mystic Dispersion and a load of Mystic champions, maybe we need to switch it up a bit. Maybe we need to bring in the more Hyperions, the more Nightcrawlers, the more Spider-Mans, like, because Blade isn't really a counter for them. And I think that, like, it's now a mix between trying to work a way around for each alliance how to make it difficult for alliances that are filled with blades. Do you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I think that you're going to always have the cycle with this game where you're going to look at this game and you're going to think to yourself, well, at any stage in the game, there is always a more preferred champ. There's always a champ suitable for majority of things. You know, at one stage it was Doctor Strange, at another stage it was Scarlet Witch, at another stage it was Thor, at another stage it was Star-Lord. You know, like that. There is always a champion where it's like, yeah, like, you need this champion. Black Widow was one at one time. There is always a stage. Right now, that stage is Blade, because of the way the current game is in. If Kabam decided to now switch this all up, and then Act 6 came out, Alliance Quest Season 5 or whatever the next season was going to be is going to come out, and we started seeing non-villains and non-dimensional beings as bosses, you're not going to see the Blade being used as much as he is now. Right now, for the way the game is, he's very effective. But Blade isn't going to be the last of it. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to end at Blade. There is going to be another one, and another one, and another one. And for me, every time a champ is released, it's not every time Kabam releases a champ that they're overpowered. Do you know what I mean? This is a once in a blue moon thing. And, you know, for me, it's like, when Kabam release a champion that's not good, then we're like, oh, that champ's crap. And then Kabam release a really good champ that, like, is god tier levels. And then people are like, oh no, he's too good. Like, you know, don't give us something that good, Kabam. Like, you know, water it down a little bit, take away some of his abilities, and then we'll be happy. It's like, bro, there is no, the bottom line of this is, there's no pleasing everybody. The Kabam are never going to please everybody. But I don't understand why, if you think a champ is overpowered, cool. Like, you can have that opinion, cool. But then what's all this hashtag Nerf Blade team scrap, bruv? Come on, man. Come on, it's a game. Champions come out. We get like 2 new champions every month, bro. Like, it's all good. Like, obviously, everybody sharing their opinion and stuff like that. But, bro, like, just, you know, Kabam are the specialists. Let them make the, you know, let them make the champions how they want to make them. Obviously, we give feedback. Yeah, that's cool. But it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't understand how, like, when champions are crap, we complain. When they're too good, we complain. It's like, bro, like, when are we gonna be happy? Like, are we gonna be cool with, like, if I'll use Thor Ragnarok as a reference, because I think he's an okay champion. He's not too overpowered, and he's not completely useless. So, like, if a champion of that caliber was released every time a new champion was released, like, it would be silly, man. It would be silly. Like, you're gonna have, Kabam are gonna have to, that's the way to kind of, for Kabam, in a way, to kind of balance the game. You know, you're gonna have champions, like they said, not everybody's gonna be god tier, but once in a blue moon, when they release a champion, especially if it is close to what their abilities, if they're reflecting their actual abilities, it's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be crazy. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, that's my 2 pence. Anyway, man. I'm not on this team Nerf Blade thing. I think Blade is very powerful, very overpowered, but I think that the game isn't in a state where there's nothing that Kabam can do about it. I think that there are a few things that we can see in game, in content, where people with Blade would think, oh, you know what, I can't even use Blade for that, man. I'm gonna have to, who else can I use? Like, I think there's gonna be a lot of that going forward. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's just gonna be, okay, well, whatever comes. And I think that Kabam is starting to show that by doing things like the boss challenge that's currently out. Like, there's only one villain in there, so it's kind of like, you know, Blade absolutely shreds through Magneto, but when Blade fights anybody else, it's just like using another character. Do you know what I mean? It's no different to using like a Black Widow. It's not Black Widow, like a Black Panther if you're looking to bleed them out. It's no different to using, I don't know who else, like a Wolverine if you're looking for someone with bleed and regen abilities. Like, do you know what I mean? So for me, it's just like, Blade isn't at a point where the only way to get around people that have a high ranked Blade and not make the game easy for them is to take the character and water him down. Do you know what I mean? They're, you know, just wait for it, boy. Just wait for it. Like I said, man, I think Kabam have got something coming, man. I think Kabam are going to hit us with something, man, and it's going to be like, what? How are we meant to complete that? Whether it be a Labyrinth 2 or something, I don't know what it is. It can't be Act 6 because Act 5 has... Chapter 4 has just been released within the last couple of months. So I think we're definitely going to be looking at a new, very high-end piece of content like a Labyrinth of... a new Labyrinth of Legends. Like, you know, we had Realm of Legends, we've had Labyrinth of Legends, which is starting to become the norm now. Do you know what I mean? The other day I saw Legacy farming flipping signature stones in Labyrinth of Legends. I was like, yo, them man, is that what it is now? Yeah. So I think we're definitely gonna see a new piece of endgame content that is gonna be on a different level to anything that we've played in the game right now. But anyway, that's all I got to say, man. Let me know you guys' thoughts below. Let me know if you're team Nerf Blade, if you're team Blade, or if you're team Save for Blade. Yeah, hashtag that in the comments below, man. But until then, man, it's been your boy Killer Beezy, Camp e.n.t Game to Entertain. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Peace!